Welcome back to the channel. We've got a little project here. I bought this lift, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago, a couple years ago. And I've used it on a couple jobs off-site. And I've used it on a few jobs here at home. We did the, put the light up there. We cut tree limbs out that were dead. We took down a cherry tree up here. I took the top out, kept coming down. It was pretty rotten. And what else? We did parts of this roof on the house with it. Not much because I didn't have it then. I worked on the chimney out front, but you see how tall this is. And it's like a, I don't know, mid-century modern kind of situation. It's a salt box. Contemporary, some mix of that. There's angles, kind of cool inside, but there's angles and difficulty, especially putting a metal roof on it. And I was up here doing a little bit of shingle repair and so on, and I thought, you know what, there's so many limbs and little tiny things, branches and leaves falling down. I said, you know, I'm gonna put a metal roof on. Well, the next project, I'm not ready to start it yet, but I want to replace some windows, and I want to start with probably Dawson's bedroom on the upper story on the other side. Do the hard ones first. If I run out of time this season, you know, these are a lot lower. I can just set up one scaffold and work on these. But this is cedar tongue and groove siding, and it's got a nail fin. I know that because I did do one window so far. And so I've got to cut through all that, and it's a project. I want to save all the custom trim on the inside. And you can see we got a couple windows failing there. That one's fogging over. I think one up there is. And I kind of want to put in some modern double hung vinyls. This is 1983, I believe. And Pella wood with a vinyl clad. And, you know, they were nice then, but they're not nice now. I would like to put double hungs in so that if we don't do a central air system, a heat pump or what, that we can throw an air conditioner in a bedroom window kind of thing for the summer months for a couple months. Like in July, August. Other than that, we don't really need it. But anyways, back to our project here. I got the lift. It was in storage in a shed out back. It's just a lean-to, and I brought it out figuring I was going to get right to it, and I didn't. So it's rained on it a few times here, and so this morning I was out here, got a few minutes. I said, you know, I'm going to fire this thing up. Well, the battery's dead, and it's behind this cover. Get over here. I loosened up the bolts, but I put the key in there to start it, and this cover's moving. Has me worried. This was fogged over when I purchased the lift, but now it's just plain loose. I don't know what's going on. I want to find that out, and I want to charge the battery. This is like a 1990, I believe. I got to look it up again. By Ameriquip Eagle 47. So it's a mechanical arm, which is not as handy as, say, a Hallowett, you know, electronic lift. But we're talking several $1,000s difference. The old lift that I had, I sold it, made a few bucks on it, bought this one. I still had money left. This is just a Honda 8-horse. It runs good. You can check the previous videos back. We serviced it. We checked the fluids, replaced. It's got an oil filter lube. I did that in, looks like April of 23. Put a Wix filter on it. That thing runs really good. And then I did an exhaust muffler on it because it was super loud. And it's still kind of loud. I think because it echoes underneath this cover. But this works pretty good. It's got a hydraulic tank there that says hydraulic fluid only. It was red, so I'm assuming that was transmission fluid. I think they're similar. But this works good. What I'm concerned about is leaving it outdoors, obviously. I know a lot of people do, and then they just cover them. But see, I'm worried about getting inside this turn. This is a full rotation. You can go all the way around, just keep right on it going. Where a lot of lifts, you only go, you know, so many degrees and then back again. And, you know, this thing, if I take care of it, should last my lifetime. And it's relatively simple. You got hoses, a couple cylinders, you know, that kind of thing. I wish that the basket had a swivel, but it doesn't. It does have a pin that you pop off and the basket comes off, and it's got a truss hook up there so you can lift trusses for somebody building a garage or house, which is kind of cool. And the thing's in great shape. The tires are real good. The brakes are good. There's no major rust on it. A couple little spots I want to touch up with some Ford. It looks like a Ford blue paint. I want to do that this year, but the time is getting by us. You know, we're into August now. So I said, well, this morning I'll pull it over here by the house. I want to go up and work on this gutter a little bit. I don't want to set my ladder tipping in this flower bed because there's quite a pitch here. And after I get this thing charged up and monkeyed with, I think I want to grease it, go up there and test it on that. And then I have a job a guy wants me to do on a roof in town. And I thought, well, instead of being up there so long on a ladder, I can put tools and stuff right in the basket. So there's a few modifications I want to do. I know you need to keep the safeties hooked up. So when these arms come out and latch, there's little switches. And this unit has to be jacked up and level, and the tires have to clear because there's a switch on each wheel. And that way, you know, the machine thinks that it's up level before you can send anything up. The modification I'd like to do is if I want to work on the engine or hydraulics and I want to start it up, I don't want to have to swing the arms out and all that. If it's in the building, you know, you can't do that. You don't have the room. If I would just want to fire it up, run it out of gas, or, you know, do whatever on it, I don't want to have to do all this setup. So I want to figure out how to bypass it, and then without doing anything major. Be nice if there's just a plug behind that cover or something where I can just do the engine. It's electric start, so, and it's got a pull rope, so I'm not sure if I even need this end or if I just go over there and there's like a switch under that cover that I can just work on the engine. That's what I'd like. So anyways, I got to charge this thing up. It won't crank over. It turns real slow, so the battery's dead. And I'm pretty sure the battery's quite old in this, like a 2017 or 18 or 19, something like that. So let's get this apart and see what's going on. I don't want water inside this electronic, so I think while I'm parking it outside, I should get a tarp over this section and then a tarp up over this section. There is a cover over your controls, but I want it more waterproof. Well, let's finish taking these bolts out. Get this cover off. Now this was tight last time I used it. And in the building, nothing fell against it or anything, so I don't know what's the deal. It does fit pretty tight on here. They call this Eagle Eye. Alright, what do we got here? And what it is it's got it used to, I don't know, you could have a switch for gas or electric. It's got a lamp test, so you can pull this on. I gotta have the key in it. I don't know if there's enough battery to have it light, or if you can even see it. You put it in the run position. There, see the lights come on? And right now, it says the right front and the right rear switch is good. See that? Emergency stop is on. And I didn't crank this arm down. I didn't want it out in the driveway. I'm expecting a delivery. This box is plastic. Yeah, water's gotten in here. But what we got, I turned that enough, is it's like a regular ignition switch with plugs on it and connectors. Somebody put a zip tie in there, one of these blue things, so they separated it for something once. Hold down to choke, so it's a choke button. And then, I don't know, maybe it'll crank, right? It will. Alright. What I am noticing is there's a red wire here, 2 red wires hanging out with nothing hooked to it. I could trace them out and see what it is, but what I'm worried about right now is I see some red RTV right here. So this has happened before. The battery, let's see what we got here. Here's some grease. I greased it. I don't know if it was the last time I used it, but I greased it. And the battery says September of 18, so it's quite old. But it turned the engine, but I cranked it a little bit and it just went right down. So I want to charge it up. It's been sitting. I don't know how many cold cranking amps. 500. So it probably needs a battery. The lift or the dump trailer needs a battery too. They're getting old. And then this fresh silicone, or not fresh, but silicone around these. So my guess is these two may never have went to anything, and they probably went to this here, which is a plug where it says gas, electric. And let's see. Let me get you in here closer. I think I'll hook up this little battery charger first, but it's a little Schumacher. It's an 1.5 amps, and it's supposed to be a waterproof style. You can leave out. Get this thing a charge in here. You know what? Let's check the voltage on it. Let me grab the meter right here. We'll see what we got in it. A lot of this stuff I don't know what I'm doing, obviously, you can tell, but I just want to learn what I can. Volts, I'll go to 20. Let's see what this battery is at before we charge it. .9, 12, 12.05. So it's discharged. It may not be totally shot because it's 12 volts. Usually, if the battery cell is bad or something, it'll be down to 11, 10 after sitting all season, you know. I think I started this last run it like in September of last year. So it's been quite a while, almost a year, right? How come time's getting by so fast? So many things I want to do and never have time for it. Too many projects. Turned green. Turned yellow, she's charging. And then, well, just for giggles, let's check the voltage. So if you want to charge a 12 volt battery, you want to have about a volt or more going into it. Let's see what we got now. I don't know if you can see that. Doubt it. Let me stay tight here. 12.5. 12.52. It's climbing. Probably if we waited 5 minutes, it'll be up to 13 or something, but I don't want to put a big battery charger on it right now. So now what I want to do is show you the cool things in here. Got some cool features. First off, the screws go in this hole and there's nothing in there. I'm looking on the back of this. See, that nub came right out, and that knurled piece is what's supposed to be glued in there. So I'll look and see if I got any super glue or something. Yeah, they slid right out. Don't know why, but we'll have to clamp onto there, pull the screw out, all four, and then glue them into there. I don't know what the RTV is. Is the gasket gone? It doesn't look it, but what should have is a little bit of a roof over it. So if water drips on it, it doesn't go right there. It actually has to come out here and down. Maybe I can just glue a piece of plastic on there or something. But this is the full spin on it. So all these are your brushes. It allows this to turn all the way around. And then when you turn the key on, you hear a noise. I don't know. I've never heard that horn sound. Maybe I have. Maybe that's the only sound of it. Maybe that's it. And what's it say? It says siren. So when it gets out of level, it's supposed to have that siren that goes off. So I should test that. And then here's your leveler. And when that's level, these lights pop on. And then there's those two wire connectors. And I think they went to a switch that was here because everything else is taken. There's nothing else here. And there's a model, serial number. The bucket capacity is 300. System pressure 1800. And looks like the date there. Date of test is 01. And then this was inspected last in, I got paperwork on the inspection. What does it say here? I don't see where it's punched out, but I got an inspection report. This was an equipment rental. And the guy I purchased it from bought it from the rental company. They took it out of stock, you know, because probably the age once they get 10 years or something. But we'll let this charge up. I'm going to get some vice grips or something, see if I can get that little knurled piece. I don't know. That one there sunk way in. So I'll have to come up with a way to attach this a whole lot better than what we got. And I want to dry this out. I'll probably get the blower out here and get this water out of it. Rained last night. Get some tarps out. Get this thing covered up. Like I said, I took it out of the building and was going to use it right away and didn't get to it. So I don't see anything going on here. There's no mouse issues or nothing. Everything seems to work. So I would imagine charging the battery. And like I said, that I'm on a slope here right now of about 5 degrees anyway. And if all of these don't light up, then it's not going to start. And so I want to do a bypass on the engine only, so I can at least fire up the engine. And I don't know. I don't want to start cutting wires. I just want to see if there's some connection. I see some tape here. I don't know what that's about. Hear the switch. But when that arm comes around and compresses it, because right now they're closed, that'll tell this that that portion, the rigger's out. So out here we got left front, left rear, right front, right rear. Those are all swing arm switches. And then it's got 2 axle switches. And so once those are out, I put this on there. It's just a little bubble level because you have to have the unit level. And this gives you a real quick idea of where it's at and see how far off it is. And so I just want to remember and learn it, and I want to make sure it's grease, maybe wipe up some excess grease, and then I want to test everything and see the fluids are full. I checked the oil's clean. It's only got about an hour on it after I changed the oil. The cylinders look good. They have wrap on all the hoses. But I don't want to park anywhere out in the sunlight very long because I want to make sure that, well, I'm getting debris in here, but we don't get sun-dried cracked hoses like we did on the tractor. This is a little more important not to have a leak on. This has a brake light up here, stop light. It has regular signals, turning signals, brake lights, and there's the wheel switch right there. And the guy told me that he had trouble with them. You had to reach down there and touch them once in a while. So I would imagine they had a little corrosion on them. And they won't go bad if they don't work. It just, the engine won't start, so you can't use the lift. So it's a safety. So I guess that's what I got to work on. We got rain coming, and I want this cover waterproof. That's the first thing. I don't think the water down on that is going to hurt anything, but I imagine it got in right here. But I don't want it in the electrical part. And it's not what I consider electronic. I mean, it looks like a little relay. I would imagine there's some relays in there, but there's not anything too complicated. That this unit should be fairly reliable for a long period of time. Like right here's a switch, and that switch comes in here, so I could trace them and see somebody's put buck connectors. They might have bypassed something once, or took an option out, and then, I don't know. Maybe you guys know, but I'm fascinated by the way this design is, you know, that this boom can swivel all the way around and just keep going. Well, that's one project down. I took this Gorilla super glue gel, put it in those little nubs, pressed them in, put my screws back in. Now the cover's tight. What I would like to do is see if this is a lot like a headlight cover where you can restore it so you can read that a little better. It's probably not that important because, well, let me show you why. Is because when it lights up, you're definitely going to see it anyway, but it just looks faded from the sun, you know, like a car headlight. See that? That was that siren making that sound. And I'm just going to finish charging this. It's probably going to take all day at 1.5 amps. Get this charged up. I'm going to get out some tarps, get this covered. I was looking for corrosion on this, and there isn't any on the battery, because you definitely want it to start when you're in the air. Make sure your connections are tight, all that. And what I'll do is I'll charge it when this turns green. Probably going to take 10-12 hours maybe, I don't know. And then I'll check the voltage again. If it's 12.6 or higher, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just have to charge it, you know. It's not a quick release cover. You got to have a wrench, 7/16 to get this off, but pretty simple in there, I guess. And every wire has a little zip tie on it. It's clean. All the connections are good. Pretty happy with that. I definitely wanted that cover to stay on and keep the water out. But now that we looked in there and there's no real electronics, I don't have to sweat it so bad. But I know on those Hallowettes, there's a lot of electronics in them things. I popped the cover off one. I'm like, whoa. So I'm not too keen about the way they did the battery hold down, but I guess it works. This battery is pretty tall. It goes to the bottom. Yeah. So they put a block of wood to hold it from moving. Block of wood on a diagonal, keep it from coming this way. I guess it works. It's not causing any rot or rust in there. So I think what I'll do is try some toothpaste, maybe the buffer, see if something like that will clean this lens up. Some product I have at home. I was thinking about disconnecting everything and taking this right off on the bench and doing it so I can do the whole thing. But let's see what that does. And then I want to write down all this information, serial number, the whole deal. While I'm in here, I think I did that once anyway, but make sure they're logged in the book. And I do have manuals on this, several. One on the engine, one on parts list, I think, and then one on, well, there's quite a few of them. So, safety operation. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Gonna rain a little bit later, and now I know it's not gonna get wet in there. I'll get a cover over this, I guess, and one over the boom basket here. And just a short little video on my monkeying around today. But I want to service this, check all the switches, get it jacked up and get it leveled, and test her out. What a difference, huh? So we're charging our battery. I can see with all the writing now, it's hazing over a little bit, but now we can read everything. And, you know, it's just like a headlight restore. It's plastic and you gotta clean it up. So now we can read everything. Just got to get out my tarps, write some things down, get a little list of what I want to do to this. And I might even get some paint out and touch up any little tiny rust spots or whatever. Make it look good. Figure out why this switch has tape on it. It still clicks, so maybe it has nothing to do with it, or maybe there's a crack in it. But the side riggers, they always work good. It's the axle switches are the ones that are tough. And the way to cure that I found is once these riggers are out and it's level, and we get our bubble exactly in the center, then the wheels are off the ground. And when the wheels are off the ground, you just take a bar under it and just shake it a little bit and the switch will click. So not a big deal, but I would imagine because they're down by the road, it got moisture on it, whatever. And that's it, guys. I'm just going to charge this bad boy up, and once it's charged, I'll close this up. We got our little knurl things glued in there, and our bolts, our screws put back in, so now the cover's on good. We'll charge our battery. I'll put this cover back on when I'm done. It looks like I'm finished in there. Like I said, I'm going to check the battery voltage, make sure it's at least 12.6 after it's charged, and if it is, then the battery's fine. Otherwise, I'll be looking for a battery for it, because you got to have this start. Because if I get it up in the air on some of these jobs and I shut the engine off, I got to have it start, and otherwise I need a ground man to fire it up. And then the only other couple things I got to worry about on this is up here, there's a safety valve right there. So if you ever have the engine stall on you or don't start, you can lower yourself back down. And there's another one right here. So I just want to make sure that these are free, like this. And what it does is right here, the upper arm can be lowered by slowly opening an emergency descent valve, and valve must be closed before resuming. And that's it, just safety downs. So I want to fire this up, and then once I get it unhooked here, it's got a lock there and a lock here. Once I get it unhooked, I raise up the upper boom, and then I raise up the lower boom, and then the basket sits right on the ground, and I'll go up here and make sure the controls and everything look good on that. It has a cover, so I'm sure they're fine, and they're mechanical anyway. And all there is a start stop switch and a start stop, and that's it. So thanks for watching the Ameriquip Eagle 47. So I imagine it goes up like 41 with a 6-foot man. You can reach 47. I don't know why they don't just say 41, but that's plenty high for me. That's like way up there. That's pretty high off the ground. But I'm hoping, like that ash tree there, that I can go up and top it and control taking that down so we don't harm any buildings there. And the old ash borer got in them. So I think we have 3 on the property. It's got to come down, and I want to use a lift for that. I think the one out in the woods there, I don't have to worry about. I'll just cut and let her go over. But any body of the building, I want to take it down carefully, and that's what I want to use my lift for. So thanks for watching. We'll see you maybe on more maintenance on this, but I want to fire it up and test it out this year.